Hold the bus, you guys. I found I've been working off of I think I've been. Sorry about that. I was just eating a cookie. My machine hasn't been working. It's been acting a little weird. But anyways, it did come on. Now, what has happened is that last information. What I did was I just pushed into the computer that I wanted to, see some evil scripture, and you just cannot always know the source. And so what I was reading off of was something other than a King James version. You'll appreciate this, all right? Because I was having some thoughts. Maybe because of the way I was reading it. But that first idea was supposed to be worlds. When it came down to it, I was talking about, this chapter 7 in Mark. This is the Gospel of Jesus. The 7th chapter in there. And it went down this numbers of 1, 2, 3, and it just was sexual immorality, theft, and murder. And I was like, it could be that idea of the 3, but I have to back it up because it says this is where evil thoughts come from, sexual immorality comes from, theft comes from, and murder. There's the 4, all right? Now, I'm going to take it as that the way I read it wrong before, but that's number 21, which represents 3. So this is a negative side of the worlds. And what I actually have decided, or what I got out of it over here, it's evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, and murders. So on the west side, on our intellect side, we have evil thoughts. In the north, in our emotional side, we have adulterous thoughts. On our skin side, our physical side, the south, we have fornication, thoughts of fornication. And on the east side, our side that's supposed to be our spiritual side, this is where the murders take place, this murderous thoughts. And so, this is really quite telling in that the words that they use, fornication means sexual intercourse between people that are not married to each other. Of course, that's what that means. But if you don't know that this inside marriage that this Jesus is talking about, for you to go inside yourself and to bring this wedding together, this mother and father, this is the idea of honoring them. This is the marriage. This is bringing them into one. You'll see that that's what they're talking about. They're seriously talking about this particular wedding inside. And that if you're going outside somewhere else, this is you're walking around. This is the skin side of us, the flesh side. It's not the skin. I would say it's the physical side of us is searching outside. It's fornicating already, and looking for something other than the part they're supposed to be looking for. That's mother and father. So they're finding religion on the outside. That's why he's so mad. You're always going out. You found religion. You've made little metal things out of them. You've got all these icons and stuff like that. There's just thousands and thousands of things out there that are distracting you from going within. And even Jesus itself, and going to a church and things like that. He says, my father doesn't go in places like that. Neither does he. He just does not. This is not where he dwells. And he doesn't hang out in those places. He hangs out up here where we go up here. All right, so let's go ahead and read the next 4. And what I would like to do is, eventually, I would like to show you that this is that when Kundalini is said this number in this way, it's going from the head, where our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and then thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's the heart. Our bread, give us this day our daily bread, rid our thoughts. And then the next are to forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those of our trespassers, those that trespass against us. This is the sacrum. And then, of course, hell is the final one. All right. And this is the idea of lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And what we wind up getting in this situation is here. Let's just go through this. It's just absolutely wild. Okay. So one is this is number 22. All right, 22 represents four. So these are the worlds again. All right. So we have thefts, which would thefts. This covetousness, this greed is still number two. Wickedness is three. So wickedness is in your heart. It's not what is up in heaven is down on earth. You have wickedness going on because you're earth to earth. You're that male on male means male conscious, the male side of our conscious going to another male conscious. That's what mankind is. All right, that's an electrical connection. Okay, or yeah, from a from a frequency standpoint, because all of the outside world belongs to Satan, and that's the lower mind. That's the lower aspects of everything. And so if you're going to go from your heart, you know, then this is where we are. Okay, says all these things come from the heart. That's because we've taken on the lower aspects of things. That's where the fallen angels come from. That's where we are. We are the fallen angel. Well, I'm not anymore, but this is what I'm saying. There's nothing great about me being this greater thing or that or whatever, but I show you how to do it too, But everyone that can become this it's just an ideal person is all they're talking about. There's nothing other than, you get light and it's nice and you're no longer a part of Satan and you're no longer worried about death and stuff like that. You feel happier, you are happier, you live life more abundantly. But yeah, what's the big deal? You know? So, um, so number one, if we think about it, let's take it on as God. We have the theft in number one. Second, it would be the person itself. He's into greed. Three would be instead of joined together. This is a wickedness, but this is really the third chakra. Fourth is deceit. Fourth is the world is deceit. So everything is in deception. All right, and that's crazy. Five, there's a lavishness and stuff like this. This is it says what is that? This one here is I don't know what this is. Shit. I don't know what that really means. I can't believe I don't have that in here. I do have it written down someplace. But this is five. Five is the body. So it's really like you're like, I think it's like being a glut. Maybe it's what did I have it over here on the five over on this side? Lewdness. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Kind of like one track mind. It's like you always got like sex on your mind, which is meaning that you are drawn to the lower side. I knew it'd come to me. I knew it would be coming to me. So this is where, we have the golden girdle. If we want to try to see this, Lord, if you're not, you're kind of loose and real handsy. You're always popping a nut somewhere. You ain't going to get there. Gotta be prepared. You got to have that oil for the lamp. All right. But so that's the body part, number five. Get this. Six, an evil eye. The sixth chakra is the seat of the soul, and that's where the single eye pops out. So here on this side, we have the evil eye. All right, number six. Seven, which would normally be the day of the Lord that we're supposed to keep holy. It's got blasphemy in it. We have eight for self-pride. That's the ego. That's for our eight, our control. Oh, well, I know everything. People telling me that that's what I have. It's my ego. This is my ego. And I was thinking, what is this? What am I doing? My ego. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure. I'm really proud that I have knowledge, and knowledge does give some kind of power, but I'm sharing the knowledge so other people have power, empowering other people So I'm not so sure how to be when someone is doing it. It certainly isn't a condescending thing, but they're trying to make me feel bad for knowing something, by knowing something that no one else knows or that can grasp or something like that. So fuck them, you know. The nine, which was this is what got me on this because I wanted to look up folly. I looked up the word folly to see what the hell does folly mean. And of course, this is off of somebody else's text. This is the changed version. So, in King James Bible, it says foolishness. All right. So I looked up what folly means. You can look it up too. It says it's a lack of good sense, foolishness. But it goes on. All right. An ornamental building with no practical purpose, especially a tower or a mock Gothic ruin built in a large garden or park. This decoration only. It serves no other purpose and will get you no place else. This is what winds up as your number 9 on the side of the lower side of our chakras and our number system here of folly. This is you're following a myth that ain't no shit, and you're going and believing in all this stuff, and you're going into churches and Jesus, and all these people say he doesn't care about that stuff. I told you about the building of the temple. It's a building of the mind. Rebuilding of the temple is like I did. I had to rebuild it, and I got it back maybe about 4 or 5 months ago or 6 months. That's rebuilding the temple. I'm showing you how to rebuild the temple right now. God hasn't really left the building. He's just being ignored. You've just been giving him lip service. But anyways, I wanted to stop the bus and let you know that this is how it's supposed to have been read in the first place. And that's why I thought I had a little bit of trouble with that first one, because it was missing things. But it only has to do with our minds. When we are committing adultery, when we are fornicating, all these things, it's really just this idea of taking on the lower aspects of our body. That's where sodomites come in. That means you're a sodomite. It means religious people are in some biblical homosexuals, and of course everyone gets to be a part of it. It's only that they're feeding from the lower. They're not literally, doing the business and stuff like that. Although, to have that reference as a bad thing, it's just really showing you where to, this is where you find the low things. This thing down here, it's connected to your heart, your brain, that littler brain. A lot of people run their lives by that part of their body, and you can't help but think about that. Can't help but think about it. And think about it. If you wanted to have some kind of sexual urge or something like that, you could picture something in your mind. The heart starts pumping and things start moving and chasing around and stuff like that. That's an electrical reaction to a particular thought that you put in motion. And if you can learn to take no thought, put all this stuff aside, it's the same kind of thing. And once all this outside noise and it all shuts down around you purposely, it's not just going to just sneak up on you, unless you're in the spot where you've been going and going and going and going. He knows you're going, so he's going to sneak up on you when you least know it. But, for no one that doesn't know shit about it, nobody gets hit by a stone. You got to go up there and anoint it yourself. That's how it works. You guys, I'd hate it when I put out bad information, but this is the short bus to the little bits of lessons that we've learned in the last few days. And it's still proving itself to be a mechanically written system of consciousness. How to raise someone's up as if it's some kind of a reference or some kind of what would be, what do we have in our well, I don't drive, but in my glove box there was always like an owner's manual showing you how to fix things. When things go wrong, what you do to get a tune-up. That's what this Bible is all about. Merry Christmas, you guys. Christmas actually starts tonight at midnight. All right. Love y'all.